how to navigate Work Center. So, who at this point is unfamiliar with Work Center? We're gonna have yet another, training, you know what, I'm not going to go into it. We'll have another training, we'll do the same thing, like an hour, and we'll go through the navigation of Work Center. This is mainly a tax, meeting, I just wanted to kind of bring some of this stuff up. So another meeting for, Work Center. It's just a lot of new stuff in there, that's why I put that on this, agenda. Tax pros review all their held returns prior to 48-hour deadline. We did a better job last year, but I don't think we did the best job. We really need to get returns out in 48 hours. We need to ensure that we can get people in and out. What I'm realizing is, once we go past 48 hours, it seems like that client don't want to come back in. We have to try to navigate getting them done within the day that we actually pull their information in. Because once they leave, it's like, it literally is an act of Congress getting them back to the table about.
So should we wait until we have everything gathered? Because the client might just say, you know what, I'm with your 1098 school.
Mm-hmm.
But comes in and drops off, 90% of all that stuff.
So
are
that's,
you, holding the return because of the school?
so.
So not even put them in the system?
Don't put them, and sometimes they drop off those physicals. So normally, we scan them and give them back. Sometimes they just drop them off and leave them. So we do have those cabinets set up. They'll be set up a little bit differently. Incoming is, we do not have all the necessary documents to start your return, to start the return. That means they came in and we knew after they filled out the taxpayer questionnaire that they did not have everything they need. If we want to keep the documents, which keeping them means they come back. So it's not a bad idea, but it needs to go in that top drawer. That's called incoming. That's what incoming means. It is not ready to process, we're waiting on something. We have to go back to that drawer though, every day, CSPs. Every day you go to that drawer and reach out to the client until it's gonna get on their nerves. Because we're gonna go out there and ask them, hey, did you get your documents? Okay, that's where your money is when we can get people out of there. Okay, work in progress. We do not have all the necessary documents to complete your return, but we started. Notice the key word, complete. So work in progress, that's your withdrawal. And per Monique, I'm gonna change it from in progress to work in progress. So that it matches up with Block's withdrawal. So when you hear withdrawal, that's what they're talking about. That means that we started the tax return. We had all the documents we thought we needed, but maybe the client didn't like the number. They gave us a 1099, it was $20,000, and we said, hey, fill this business expense sheet out. No, I don't want to do that. And we put it in, and they see they owe $7,000, and now all of a sudden, well, wait a minute, where's that business expense sheet you told me about? Let me try that. That happens a lot, because some people don't know what that 1099 is when they receive it, and once they see the damage it could do, now all of a sudden they want to fix it. So that could happen. Stuff like you had a 1099 or a W-2. They said they had 3 jobs, they brought in 2, and they realized that they was missing 1 or something like that. So this is like it's almost done. You put it in, it's almost done. This drawer is important because that's the one that shouldn't go past 48 hours. So as soon as we find out that somebody doesn't have everything, the tax pro has likely reached out to them, because we can go through Work Center, we can send them messages, that type of thing. So we likely reached out to them, and then we put it in that drawer, and then we forget about it. So CSPs, y'all gotta remember to go to that drawer, because that's a 48-hour drawer that we have to get out, and it's also money. Signature required. Tax Pro has discussed the fee, the amount owed, and or refund with the client. So when the client, per the conversation we had earlier, when the client is done and they come in, if they happen to come in to sign the return, they shouldn't have any questions. if they have a question on how much they're paying, if they have a question on what their refund is, if they have a question on how much they owe, schedule an appointment for them to come back and talk to the tax pro, or call the tax pro. Either way it goes, it needs to be an appointment. And they can hold off on signing and talk to the tax pro to discuss it. So that you guys are not stuck with having to open a return up, explain what somebody else has done. We having these issues where one person did an extension and the other person went in, somebody's name on it, and the other person, we're gonna get away from all of that. If it's your client all the way through to the end, only your name will be on that tax return. If you filed the extension for that client, you should also be filing the tax return for the client. Yes.
Where are we on the agenda?
We jumped down a second, because, what we were asking, we were talking about the Hills returns for 48 hours. So it just sent me down to the client status, box. Extensions, spur extensions. Client requested more time to file CSPs to follow up within 3 days. So in the past, you file these extensions, it's at the last minute, everybody's there all night trying to get these extensions in, and then we just forget about it for a couple of weeks, then a month, and then another month, and then 2 more weeks. For long, we got all these extensions everywhere. We don't know who came, who did what, we're not doing that this year. We'll file an extension for you, but we need to talk to you in 3 days. We need you to fill out a taxpayer questionnaire, we need to provide you documents, we need you to do whatever it is we need you to do to get as much as we can. Even if we're just moving it to incoming and we're not actually putting it in. Do not open a person's tax return. Do not go in there and click that button for the tax year if you do not have all the information, tax pros. Don't click the button to open. Once you click the button to open it, that 48-hour time frame starts. As soon as it goes to 24 hours, I start receiving calls from H&R Block about the open returns or the unfinished return. So when we click that button, let's be prepared to finish if we can. If we can't, of course, we know we'll fall into work in progress, and then we're gonna stay on CSP, you're gonna stay on it to make sure that the preparer do what we need to do and the client does what they need to do. We're gonna get on their nerves this year. They're gonna be willing next year to just get it over with, because we're gonna stay on them so that we can do what we need to do.
So, we are only talking about the online filing, right?
On what?
Online filing?
No, this is people who come in, so we have 3 different things that could happen. You have a person who walks in and gets their tax return done that day. We have the person who wants to drop off, which is where the 48-hour time frame comes in. They drop off their documents and we prepare their return within 48 hours. And you have they can come in on that one, they can come back in to sign. If they left their physical documents, they have to come back in to sign. If they send them to us digitally, or we gave them back their documents, we can do an approval online. You should know that day. At the bottom of our taxpayer questionnaire, it actually asks that question. So we'll answer that question and it tells us how to handle the client. So if they say they want to approve online, that means they're not coming back in. So we can actually send them their return digitally. The third one is a virtual where we can actually sit, and I haven't done that yet, where you sit in front of the video camera with the person. I've not had to do that. You had any first? So, Courtney, you had?
Yeah, I have.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
How is it?
Weird, but it's okay. It's fine.
So there's, in every office, there's, 1 or 2 computers that have a virtual, setup where you can interact with the client as you do their tax returns on the screen. Okay? Those are the 3 options. There's a 4th option where the client can go online and do their tax return themselves. They have to be careful because the return that they do for free, we can't see that. We can't see it, we can't do it. If they messed up and they had to come back in, we have to start them from scratch. We can't see it. Let me explain to y'all why you can't see it. Y'all know why you can't see it? Mm-hmm. This is funny. So, You can go to the IRS's website, and you can do your tax return for free at the IRS website. So what the IRS allows, preparers to do, like companies to do, is link up with their site. And so you can offer a free tax return to anybody the same way they do. So Intuit, TurboTax, they just link into their system. We have a system, we link in, Liberty, they have a set system where they can link in, so it's like free tax return. So what's happening is, we're saying you can use our shell to go in and get a free tax return. So if it's only a W-2, you and a kid maybe, you should be able to get a free tax return. But it's not going into Block's system. Same way it's not going into Intuit system, and it's not going into Liberty tax system. It's a virtual tunnel that goes straight to the IRS. So the only person who can give you a copy of that tax return is the Internal Revenue Service. We can't see it. Now, if they go in, what advantage is it for us? If they go in and they do the tax return, your marketing starts happening. So same thing Intuit does, H&R Block is doing. Hey, you don't wanna pay up front, or, I mean, you did something different and it's allowing, you're no longer free anymore, but you don't wanna pay up front, you can come to our system. Or, oh wait, you wanna see your tax return? Okay, well, if you wanna see your tax return, then, it's another fee. So that's what it's doing. It's a tunnel, but we get to advertise to the client. So the client says, oh, I'm gonna do mine for free, and they have a 1099, that ain't gonna work, you're not gonna get a free tax return. So then H&R Block is like, oh, flag on the plate, you got 1099, this is not a free return. But we got a product that we can offer to you.
So that's only simple returns, right?
Yes. So you branch off and you go.
Are they able to see it on my blog?
No. It's a tunnel, it's literally a tunnel. So this is H&R Block up here. This is the tunnel to the IRS. Work Center's over here. My block is over here. Our Blockworks is over here.
And
It
the
don't
tunnel only
see
goes
any, the
one
tunnel
way.
is going straight to the IRS.
It ain't come back.
It can't come back, it can't go, we cannot see, we don't even have a person's information in our system. Only the IRS has it. That's why we can't see those returns. So when they come in, first thing you ask them, is this free? If it's free, we won't be able to see it. Well, I'm not sure if I filed it properly. You go to our IRS website, go to tax transcript. I tried, but I don't have a credit card or a student loan, or you try to call them. Well, can you guys call them for me? Can you guys call them for me? For $150, we can.
An hour.
An hour.
$150 an hour.
For $150, and saying as though you wanted a free tax return. I'm sure you don't want to pay that. So that's how that works. So that takes us back to, here where we're at, taxpayer review, bill returns prior to 24 hours. CSPs communicate with COO to clear up issues beyond 48 hours. So there are gonna be people who walk in and they're going to want us to do their tax return. They're not gonna like the fee, or they don't like the refund, or something like that. And we'll have to put in the system that not likely to return, and it sits in Work Center. So CSPs, as soon as that happens, as soon as you see it, so that it won't look like it look overwhelming right now. So it don't look like that, let's just go ahead and get it cleared right away. So we'll just let one of you know, hey, this person is not likely to come back, and we'll take it off your list, so you're not seeing it show up on your list every time. By the way, we do not do estimates. I probably need to put a sign up that basically says we'll pay the basic amount of the tax return. You won't just get a number and walk out. That's not happening. If you come and sit down with a tax preparer, you will have to pay. You can't bring a tax return that you did in and we look over it. So I'm like floored with some of the things people say. We get paid to do tax returns. Why would you walk in here and ask me if I could look at your tax return that you created for free? Why would you ask me that? Like, for the life of me, I don't understand that. But they will do it. You're gonna get at least 1 to 2 people, if not more, that's gonna walk in with a TurboTax tax return, and they're gonna ask you to look over it to see if it's correct.
Vanessa.
So here's how you handle that. we can prepare the tax return for you, and you can pay us, and you can compare it from, at that point. Well, I just need somebody to look over it just to see if it's correct. That's not how we work. For one, we have to prepare the return ourselves, so we're aware of what went on it. You know, there's so many things you can do in Turbo. I don't know how Turbo, we can't.
I guess who used to work for TurboTax, you can ask her.
We could not even get to, Pro Series don't let you do that. But some kind of way, TurboTax will let you do anything. And we, sometimes they'll come in asking us to amend returns. Well, you have to get back to the original return before you can amend it. That's the other thing. If a client comes in, they say, well, this return was wrong, I did it wrong, I need to amend it, how much you charge? We charge the amount of the return plus the amendment. Well, but I already did the return.
That's not wrong.
Obviously, you didn't do it right. And it's gonna take, it took me and Courtney, I put 4 hours in. I don't know how many hours Courtney put in to try to get back,
Yeah.
To try to fix.
to figure what this lady did to this return. So no, it absolutely not, that's not free. No, you did this and we gotta fix it. So we gotta go in, get it where you had it before, which is way harder than doing it ourselves. And then we have to amend it to get it where it's supposed to go. You're gonna pay us for the return and you're gonna pay us for the amendment. Okay? And if they say, well, how much is it? I need to have a tax pro look at it to see. Because we usually can tell by the forms or whatever, roughly about how much it would be. Okay? Speaking of which, you don't give anybody a price or an exact price. H&R Block does have an option in the work center to go in and try to calculate what a return will be based on what the person tells you over the phone. The person is never going to tell you everything. So what you do in the end, you say, based on the information that you've given me, it looks like your fee would be this. However, if you bring any other document in or anything changes, this number could increase. Get really good at saying that.
Really?
Because if that's, they're gonna, well, she told me, $150. There ain't no way on earth we told you a Schedule C was $150. There's no way we told you that. The base return is $350. So no, we didn't tell you that. But you know, well, she told me, let me see. She told me that when, you know, what did you tell her you had? You have to go back through that conversation. If someone does come in, by the way, and they say, well, I called and they said it was this much, you can have a manager come up. That would be Monique. And what she's gonna say is, oh, hold on a minute. Let me look at the camera. Let me look at the camera and see what was said. Okay? So as long as you guys are saying what we told you, we can go back and get the information. And we can show it to you. That's what she said. Okay? So, you know, just know that that's the case. And again, like I said, I'm gonna keep drilling it in. I don't know is not an answer. You're gonna get a lot of questions asked that you don't know the answer to. Get very clever. Hey, can I get you to hold on one moment? Let me get you 1 second. Would you say that question was? Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I can get you an answer. Never, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know how. You know, don't always sound confident. Even if you have absolutely no clue. Somebody called me about an appointment. I had an appointment for such and such, and what did I just tell y'all? I'm appointment retarded. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't care that I don't get it. I don't even want to get it at this point because it's confusing. But I sat there and I tried to look, and she was on the line. And once I got past a minute, I was like, can I get you to hold on a moment, please? I'm on the phone up. I mean, like they don't see you when you get off the phone. Even if they come in, like you always will walk away, and they don't see none of the stuff that you go, hey, you know how to do, you know, they don't need to know that you don't know. Be very confident, act busy with something, I don't know, just always be confident. Invitations to clients to upload tax documents, kind of what we were just talking about. So a client wants to get their tax return started, invite them into My Block. There's we'll look at Work Center, we'll go in and show you how to do your invites. And you invite the client in and they can upload their documents. And I just sell them on how great the system is. Oh, you know, you can load that stuff in and you can always go back and look at it I think up to 7 years. You should be able to go in and see all your information that you upload. Oh, and you can do it from your phone. You can literally do this from your phone. You know, just give them all the positives. Matter of fact, we send messages back and forth so that we can get this tax return done within 48 hours. Would you like to access the text messaging system? Just in case you don't use your email often, we can do both. You know, so that's you want to really sell them on that product. And CSPs, the more you sell them on that, the less work you got to do. Because the more you get them into that system, the less you got to go look for stuff, find stuff. They can go see this stuff themselves. I would suggest going in it and setting up an account so you can see what they see, because it's always helpful when they call and they don't know how to do something, you're able to walk them through how to do it. I think in one of the meetings, you may not have to set your own account up, because I think in one of the meetings, they said they were gonna put a practice environment out. And so you can actually go out and see what the My Block system looks like from the client's perspective.